Hi, I'm Josh Curvin. Welcome to another Death Battle prediction video. But first, Tifa versus Yang. This went pretty much exactly as I expected. Right from the get-go, I knew that Yang was going to be winning. And I knew that the fight would be cool, because it certainly was. I found that last time, though, I didn't actually give too many reasons as to why Tifa would actually win. But it's actually pretty basic stuff. It's like, her dodging lightning in the whirlwind maze that immediately gives her enough reaction speed that Yang is totally unable to hit her. And then also that she survived hits from Laws, who is the physical embodiment of Sephiroth's power. Physical power. So, realistically, Tifa should have been able to casually destroy Yang. Oh, especially taking into account that Final Heaven, which is her ultimate attack, is equal in strength to a nuclear strike. So, just those three facts alone immediately make it obvious that realistically Tifa should have won. Because Yang doesn't have anything even close to that. Even the calculations they did in the episode were incredibly half-assed, if not outright idiotic. For example, the pillar feat that they did was fucking stupid. They took the strength that would take to crush a pillar to the point where it fragments, whereas Yang was hit in from the side. They are honestly stupid if they think that a single highway pillar would be able to endure 36 jets flying into it from the side. A single one would easily be able to replicate that. Other than that, honestly, they just needed to justify a win for Yang, which, as long as you're not using calculations or anything like that, they could easily do. Which is part of, with Death Battle, the whole visual feat thing. A lot of her stuff seems awesome, but it doesn't have much quantifiable fact behind it. They also skewed a bit of information in her favor, but that's kind of just par for the course at this point. But then next we have Megaman versus Astro Boy. Should be fun. And we don't have to deal with Papa Corporate for that one. Oh yeah, that's another note. It's kind of sketchy that immediately after this episode aired, there was immediately stuff about Rooster Teeth and Screw Attack literally almost joining. That's a little bit on the sketchy side, but oh well. Papa Corporate won that fight, not Yang. Oh well, moving on. So, Mega Man vs. Astro Boy. This is actually a pretty well requested fight, but I know that there's some people who don't want to see it. This is actually an episode of Fatal Fiction that one of my friends did, and there's a lot of people who are going to be angrily posting on his videos if a certain character wins. So now we just have to look at if he was right. So first, I guess we'll go back into our three basic stats. Okay, so for Mega Man, his strength is approximately country level. There's been way weaker Robot Masters that he's fought in multiple games. Lots of Robot Masters fucking everywhere. That have had large island level feats, and they're way weaker than Mega Man. Stuff that he adapts and increases the strength of. And one of his bombs is actually stated to be megaton grade. He's also made a country-sized blast when he shot Wily out from space onto the planet, and the cloud was absolutely huge. So the blast itself was about country-sized. For his durability, he can survive a 57 Zetaton hit. He took hits from a bloodlusted Sunstar who shook the Wily Star with his death throws, and that was while he was holding back. So this is an astronomically powerful character. This is about a small planet-level feat. In terms of speed, this is surprisingly what Mega Man is relying on the most for this fight, actually. He's got a really good feat in a level called Space Rush, where he clears an entire asteroid belt. This has been calculated to being at least 250 times the speed of light. That's a huge speed that, like, a lot of characters, I think so few characters in Death Battle have even come close to. Other than that, I'm not going to go too much into the basic weapons because a lot of it is very pointless. Do we really care that his leaf shield is a thing? Do we really care that his, like, tornado strike is a thing? It's not going to matter too much in the overall scheme of things, and there's so many weapons here that, honestly, I don't want to have to go into them all. So I'm only going to go into the specific hacks weapons that are actually going to make any form of difference. Okay, so, specifically, Mega Man has incredible abilities in copying weapons and functions and improving them mid-battle from any machine. He can do this in a couple ways, but his most effective one is by touching the machine and just, like, gaining the abilities. It'll automatically update his gun arm into being able to replicate and improve those abilities. This could be huge in a fight where someone might have a single advantage over you. You can immediately take that, and it's no longer an advantage. This isn't just limited to, say, abilities like shooting things. This is everything up to stat increases. Like, he can become stronger with Gutsman's abilities. He's also had lightning strong enough to power a nuclear reactor. He has had absolute zero ice attacks, and fire hotter than the sun, black hole bombs, time stops, and omnidirectional barriers. Those are kind of his main hand that he's dealing at this point. It honestly depends on what Death Battle's going to be giving him. If they throw him in without any of his special abilities, then that will be kind of bullshit, but I can see it potentially happening. So, then we go into Astro Boy. With his power, he's slow to falling island, and he's also comparable to Garen, who toppled a mountain when he collided with the Earth. He's also fought on par with a character named Atlas. His durability is 46 zetatons compared to Mega Man's 57, so it's not a huge difference, honestly. It's pretty close. From tanking hits from Atlas using his sword, and he's also taken hits from Garen. So it's mostly that he's fought and survived against some of the heavy hitters of his series. For his speed, he outsped a missile that flew 500 million kilometers in 45 seconds. Does that give him 250 C? No, it only gives him 40. That's not an immediate blitz, though. It kind of is, but it's still, he's at least moving. It's not like he's a statue compared to Mega Man. For his specific hacks, he has energy absorption, like a ball around him that will absorb enemies and attacks. He has time travel, omnidirectional barriers as well, flight, and a limitless energy source in his chest. He doesn't have as much, but there's some pretty annoying ones in there, like the time travel, that could be kind of weird to go into, if they end up looking at those at all. So, while this is a kind of short one, and there is arguably a lot more that I could be looking at here, I think it more or less does come down to those exact factors. The things that I've mentioned here are just kind of like the top of the barrel. Like, I'm not going into the horsepower argument because I don't go by arbitrary measurement stuff like that the series throws onto things, when I can go by blatant feats. Things that they've shown that they can do instead of what they're implied to be able to do because of an arbitrary measurement that was thrown onto them. Though I suppose that's what calculations are, but those are at least proven. And when someone says that, for example, Mega Man only has, 15,000 horsepower, but he's shown feats that are far beyond anything that should be capable of that, then that's what I'm going with. So I'm not going to be going into the horsepower argument. So my overall verdict is that Mega Man probably takes this. His stats are better, whereas Mega Man has country level power. Astro Boy only has like large island level. And then even when you start adding in other factors, such as their specific destructive capabilities, they only go up to being similar in planet level. And this is only using certain aspects of Mega Man. If you throw in Gigamix, it becomes an actual stomp in Mega Man's favor. For durability, Mega Man has a slight advantage, and then for speed, he also has a significant advantage, like a huge advantage. So then the only thing that it would come down to is if Astro Boy has the hacks to keep up with Mega Man. Realistically speaking, in a straight-out going for the win as quickly as possible scenario, Mega Man would be able to use his hacks first due to his higher speed, and he could simply pop a time stop and pop a black hole. Nothing Astro Boy has is capable of dealing with that. Black holes are something he's never endured. He wouldn't have time to activate anything with such an advantage against him. In addition, there are several of his series where he's shown to have some disadvantages against certain things that Mega Man can easily replicate. The Sun when there was a manga chapter where he flew too close to the sun, and when he came into contact with it, it damaged him significantly. He was able to be repaired, but that is the surface of the sun. Mega Man has weapons that are hotter than the sun in general. That alone should be enough to destroy Astro Boy. In addition, again, between the black holes and absolute zero ice, which while Astro Boy is resistant to ice attacks, he shouldn't be able to do anything about absolute zero. Mega Man's just going to be incredibly hard to deal with for Astro Boy, and even though he's got flight on his side, that's nothing that Mega Man hasn't dealt with before. And this is completely ignoring the fact that if Astro Boy does have any specific advantages that he finds, Mega Man simply needs to touch him, and he can take them. Well, not take them, but he can steal them and use them. This is also without taking into account certain things like Beat and Rush, both of which would even nullify Astro Boy's slight advantages he does have, such as the flight. If they give him Rush, which honestly they probably will, although Rush probably will be destroyed and it would be sad. If they do give him Rush, then he's probably going to be able to fly as well, which even further nullifies advantages. So overall, I do think that Mega Man should be fully capable of taking this with no real issues. His stats are just way higher and his hacks is way more hard to deal with. While the time travel is effective, they've never been the type to use that kind of ability like that, where, for example, Dr. Doom could have gone back in time and killed whiny bitch Anakin, but he didn't. He went back further in time to simply move the fight somewhere else. So I don't think they're going to do that. And then just anything else, even the limitless energy source, that can simply become a boon for Mega Man. So overall, I'm going with Mega Man on this one. The animation should be fun, especially going by what we saw with Mega Man vs. Samus for the 1 minute melee. That was especially fun, and it's probably one of my favorite 1 minute melees. I'd like to just give a thank you to Proto Dude from Classic Game Guys for helping me with the research for this one. So on that note, I will see you guys on the next one.